So I am celebrating on April 1st that I have resided in Mexico for the last 13 years. It'll be 13 years on the 1st that I moved here in 2012. And I recently was shocked to find out I wouldn't qualify if I tried to come in now to get a temporary or a permanent visa because the temporary visa is about $4,300 a month, somewhere around there. Or you can have, I think, $74,000 in a savings account. So maybe I would have gotten in then. I don't have that kind of money around me anymore. I just bought a place, but and if you get a temporary visa, by the way, after 4 years, you can automatically convert it to a permanent visa, and you don't have to go through the qualifications. With a permanent visa, they're up to like 7,400. That's round. I think it's 7,300 and something. And I think almost $300,000 in savings for that. So it's very, very clear that people I was on at that time, it was 2,500 in 2016 when I went in. I'd had a temporary, I don't even remember what it was thing because it had already expired. Um, so I got in, I actually didn't have 2,500 in fixed income. I actually had that because I owned property and I had rentals, but they didn't count that. They only counted what was your fixed income. But I did own a house down here, so I got in. I think that's, it makes me a little sad because I can't say to people who are on a budget, hey, come to Mexico, because the quality of life in Mexico, I think, has extended my life because I just have no stress. Honestly, the most stressful thing I had to do was get up early on Wednesday and go over to the government building to register my car. And I got there, it's always very crowded. It's like a DMV on steroids. And I got there a few minutes early, but there was already a little bit of line. It was like 10 minutes to 8, and they let people in. So I'm not great at standing in line because, I'm old. And I was never great standing in line. I get crazy. So after a few minutes, I knelt down on one knee, and I was near a post. So I put my hand on the post, and a couple of seconds later, they have these sort of rotating guards came by and gave me the eye, and I said in Spanish, I said to him, "Estoy 84. Es que posible una silla? I'm 84. Is it possible a chair that I could get a chair?" And he looked at me. He said, "Follow me." And he took me to the front of the line. And I don't know if they would do that in the United States. He just put me right in front of the cashier, because first you have to pay for your something, and then you have to go to another line, pay something else. And that was really great. He said, in 2 minutes it will open. And he told me in Spanish, and he showed me on his clock, 8 o'clock. So that was really great. And so one of the things I love about Mexico is very, very personal. It's a personal place. And it's also why you have to be careful in that you don't insult people. Nobody's shouting curses at you on the street like New York, where I grew up. But I do want to say to you, you can still go to Costa Rica if they have a pensioners plan for $1,000 a month. I do not know the cost of living in Costa Rica. You'd have to go look it up because I don't know what rentals are. I do know this: any place that's near a foreign community, an English-speaking American community. Foreigners, that's what we are. We're migrants and we're foreigners. Like, they call themselves expats, but that's like a colonial word. Expats, that word came from when the England conquered India. The people they left in charge back there in India while they went back to England, those were called expatriates. So it's really a colonial term of a conqueror. And nobody's conquered Mexico. Well, recently, Spain had a little thing to do. France, they carried on here for a while too. But we didn't. So I always refer to us, and by the way, Mexicans refer to us as gringos. The government here in Mexico refers us to as migrants, and that's what we are. We're migrants. What goes around comes around. So you can get here on a tourist visa. That's the other thing. If, let's say, you don't have that, and you're like me, you only have $2,000 a month coming in, or that's provable, then you can come in on a tourist visa. You don't have to prove income for that. You just, pay them $30 and they'll give you a tourist visa. It's good for 6 months. Gives you a chance to see if you want to hang out here. The other thing is, nobody is patrolling the streets looking for whose visas are expired here. Your neighbors are not reporting you here. So you don't have to worry if your visa, your 30-day, 60-day, excuse me, 180 days, 6-month visa, tourist visa, has expired. Unless you get into some sort of legal problem, then you could be instantly deported. So that's the good news and bad news and the in-between news, but it's still Mexico. And I think if you can possibly afford it and you like it, you should look into it. The other thing is you can become a remote worker here. That's the good news.